Hello, welcome to Sunday School. Last week we talked about Advent and the symbol of the Advent wreath with the 4 candles representing the 4 Sundays before Christmas. We talked about the first candle, which we called peace. This week we're going to talk about the candle that symbolizes hope. Let's take a look at the definition of hope. Hope is a positive state of mind. It's thinking that things can turn out well instead of poorly. Hope contains ideas that things are going to be okay, maybe even great. Hope says that something we want to happen will more than likely happen. And hope says that there are other possibilities when we can't see answers to our current situation. This picture of hope puzzled me. It's one that Pastor Dave and I saw when we were visiting a museum a few years ago. And it's a picture that's done by George Frederic Watts. And I looked at this picture for the longest time, thinking, how could hope be understood from this picture? But as I stood there, I realized that one, her eyes are closed, so that she's not looking at her situation the way we are. That perhaps there is a different way in her head and in her heart that she can think about things differently, that she doesn't have to be chained to the present. And so I think it has become one of my favorite paintings. Hopeful people are like the story, The Little Engine That Could. They just think that if they keep trying, things will happen, and they will happen for the better. And so they don't give up. And they think they can, and they think they can, and they think they can. So in thinking about hope, what do we hope for during the Advent season as we approach Christmas? I know that I love lights. I love seeing lights, and I go in the car looking at lights at nighttime to see how beautiful they are. I also love snow glistening under ice-frosted trees. It's beautiful. What about gingerbread houses? Do you like gingerbread houses? I sure do. I always love to see them in windows or in magazines. What about the way things used to be? Have you ever thought that you'd like for certain things to be the way they were when you were younger? Probably those of you who are young now don't think that way. But some of us who are older fondly remember things of our childhood. What about getting back to school? I'm sure that's something that many of you would hope for this season. And being with friends. And Christmas cookies. And of course, surprise packages. It's all awesome. But I wonder what kind of things people in these circumstances hope for. Homeless, hurting, in need of help, unable to meet financial obligations, out of work, especially during this pandemic. In poverty, very little means. I'm wondering if I would have a smile on my face if I lived in that kind of horrible situation. Suppose sitting on the floor eating this was your kitchen table. And suppose you felt that there were very few alternatives to the way you feel. You feel sad, you feel lost, you feel lonely. What does Jesus hope for us? Have you ever thought about that? Jesus is hope for us. He is hope for all people. He came to earth to be the hope of the world, to give people alternative ways to think, to feel, to believe that things could be better, to show how God wants us to treat each other. And therefore, we don't have any more excuses not to help others in need. That is what Jesus expects us to do. And so at this time of the year, there's like the Salvation Army and many other organizations that we can donate to. You can make cookies and drop them off on the porch of a neighbor that you know would appreciate it. Jesus wants us to help others in need. So in Micah, in the Bible, there is a wonderful statement that says God wants us to do justly, to do things that are right, kind, to love mercy, to be merciful to others, help them understand where they're coming from, to be humble, to look to Him for the way that we should do things or guide us in doing things that we haven't done before. So hope. It's who Jesus is for us. It's hope in Him that is what we have to keep us going. And hope in Him is who we are to others in need. So this season, think about your hope, your wishes differently this Advent season. And when you do, you might just find that surprise package worth going after. Have a good week. Remain hopeful. Take care.